won that second one on Saturday. But you kind of just talk about your team's approach going into the weekend.
Yeah, just really, really excited, obviously, to be continuing to play and have a chance to go down to the conference tournament and play in the Pentagon. And they do such a great job. The NSIC does a great job of hosting that tournament and making it a good experience for all the student athletes involved. So, good experience for our guys to get down there. And we felt like we had a great shot to win some games, and came out and played really, really well, especially the first half against Upper Iowa defensively. And then the second half was really a shootout and just turned into just a back-and-forth basketball game, an exciting game to watch, I'm sure. And then it goes into overtime. Both teams had chances, and we made enough plays to win that game. And it was that was just a lot of fun to be in that game and to be in that situation and to pull it out at the end. So then quick turnaround. And, the day and age it is now, you get back, and we had post-game meal, and then we COVID tested and talked about Northern State briefly, and we're ready to go. And thought we had a great shot again in that semifinal. We're excited to play them again, and thought defensively we really battled in that game, but we could never really get it going offensively. They did a great job defensively, especially on our guard court. And Max and Cam and Steve, kind of struggled to really get going in that game consistently, at least, and we didn't shoot it very well from the outside. And that was kind of the challenge that second night when we had to play back-to-back, and just never got it clicking great on the offensive end. And again, a lot of that was because Northern State's a very good basketball team and a team that ended up winning the championship of the tournament.
Looking a little bit more closely at the win against Upper Iowa, we knew coming into that game that they were going to shoot a lot of threes. They like to score a lot of points. They play pretty quickly up and down the floor. But in the first half, I believe they were 0 of 11 from 3. Could you attribute that to your defensive play, or do you think that was just kind of fortunate for you?
Yeah, I think, we really did a good job, number one, controlling tempo that first half. Our defensive transition, we had great floor balance. We had guys in the right spots to slow them down and contest them. Number two, we won our one-on-one matchups a lot and contained the dribble, so they didn't have kick-out threes. And then we pressed them off the arc a little bit, where when they were shooting threes, they were shooting pretty deep threes and a step even behind the NBA line that's on the floor there at the Pentagon. So shooting a lot of difficult shots. I was really happy. I mean, that's probably the best defensive half we've played all year. The second half, I thought we let them get to the paint a little bit too much, and they just really aggressively attacked us. And that's when it kind of turned into a shootout, which is probably a little more fun maybe to watch as a fan, but a little bit more frustrating as a coach to let them get in a rhythm. And, then it was just a complete battle that whole second half.
And then looking at the game against Northern State, Parker Fox was the North Division MVP, and it seemed like in the first half had a pretty good defensive performance against him, but he kind of took over there in the second half and made some really big plays down the stretch. But you mentioned your defensive performance as a team in that game, and it was a physical matchup between you guys and the Wolves. So what kind of led to that defensive energy coming off that back-to-back?
Yeah, it was tough for us for sure. Northern State had a day off, and that's the advantage of them being the one seed is they had Friday off to watch us play and to just kind of relax and kind of rest, and then we had to go right back at it again. I thought we did a good job on the defensive end. They had a run to kind of, back and forth game. And then right before half, they had a nice last 2 to 3 minutes of the first half to stretch out a little bit of a lead, maybe get it to 6 or 8 points at half. And then we just could never really get, we had a couple opportunities where we'd have the ball, get a stop, have the ball back again, and we could just never string together 2 or 3 straight possessions with buckets on the offensive end. And, defensive end, we're getting stops. We're getting in transition a little bit. But I think just, whatever it was, and again, a lot of it was probably they did a great job defensively, I thought, of contesting everything. And they're one of the better defensive teams in our league. And obviously that's why they're one of the better teams. But just wish we could have seen the ball go through the hoop a little bit more early in that game and had a little more confidence and a little more bounce in our step because I absolutely love the way we competed in that game against a really good basketball team. But just felt like we left it all out there, and definitely proud of that. And rather walk away feeling like you competed your heart out and that sort of thing, and maybe didn't have enough on that defensive end, and can go in the locker room with really no regrets of how you played.
Watching that game on the broadcast, from somewhat of a fan's perspective, it never seemed like I was out of reach coming down the stretch. It seemed like a couple baskets here and there would kind of pull you guys a little bit closer. And one guy who really stepped up there late was Jackson Gunville. made a couple big threes there towards the end of the game. How important was it for guys like that to step up in against Upper Iowa, and then?
Yeah, we had a lot of bench contributions in both those games, and guys found a way to impact the game, and that's something that's, we just kind of preach all the time. If you're going to be dressed and wearing a uniform, you better be ready to make a play to help us win a game, whether that's a loose ball or making a shot or getting a rebound, whatever it is. You got to be ready, and those guys off the bench keyed us so many times this year, gave us so many sparks, and even the guys that didn't get in the game were so engaged. And that was one of the things I thought that was fun, was to hear so many people just talk about the energy of our basketball team and how much fun they were having, and how much it looked like all 20 of our guys. We have 20 guys on our roster. Some weren't dressed out, but how much fun they were having and enjoying the game and engaged. And to me, that's a big part of what it's all about. Obviously, winning is huge, and having a mindset to push yourself and get better, but also just loving the game and having fun, and just supporting your teammates, and putting your heart and soul into it. And I thought our guys did a great job of that, whether that's on the court or guys that maybe were just on the bench for the whole game. And I think that's a big part of why they had a great experience this year with their team, is they just enjoyed it every day. And to me, that's a big part of the game of basketball, is just loving it and having fun with the guys that you play with and developing those relationships.
The format of the NSIC tournament this year a little bit different because of COVID, but regardless, still very impressive for your guys to reach the semifinals. What does that mean for the program moving forward? Yeah,
it was in some ways we missed out on the experience of hosting a first round game, which would have been great. But to get down to that tournament and be able to compete and win that first round game and get in the semis and play a top 10 team, you're always looking for what's the next step for us. And we had a few different things that we crossed off the list, maybe that our program hasn't accomplished yet to this point in time. And one of those was winning the game in that building and beating a really good team. And we were able to do that against Upper Iowa. We felt like we had a little more that we could get done this year, so it's certainly disappointed in that. But just really proud of the guys' effort and their belief in each other and kind of in what we can accomplish as a team. So just want to keep them inspired to getting better, and then just it'll be something that they can say that they helped this program accomplish, whether that's this year or next year, whenever it is. There's some things that they can be proud of, and they can hold their heads up high and walk around campus and talk about some of the great experiences they had this year, even though it was a challenging year with the COVID and that sort of thing. So it is nice to be able to, it's a lot of time and effort from a lot of people just to have a season, and to be able to have that experience at the end was really good for our young guys in our program.
And with the COVID situation and the free era of eligibility, you probably don't know much about it yet, but do you foresee any of your seniors, upperclassmen, taking advantage of that?
Yeah, I think we've discussed it with all our guys, and then it's just kind of putting the pieces together here in the next couple of weeks, really, of, okay, how can we attack this? And those guys had a lot of fun, but how can we continue to be successful, as a basketball program, but also how can we put you in a position where you can use basketball to continue your education, and what's the next step with that, whether that's finishing a master's degree or starting a master's degree or adding another major. So some things we've got to meet with our guys, but right now I'm just trying to focus on some of the things they were able to accomplish this year, and how much respect I have for the way they went about their business this whole year, and how they grew as young men and grew as a team. And then we'll get to work, because we've just the last couple of days being back, the gym's full of guys in there trying to get shots up because they're excited, and they've really seen some of those older guys, regardless of what happens, they've seen them put their heart and soul into Minot State basketball, and we want to make sure we keep that type of workmanlike attitude in our program and part of who we are.
And lastly, just kind of summarizing the season, can you just talk about a few places that, whether it's on the court, off the court, whatever, where your team really took steps to improve this year?
Yeah, I just think we kept growing throughout the whole year, and that's what you want as a coach. A lot of challenges, unknowns, strange things, and wearing masks on the sideline and sitting apart and games canceled and all that stuff. And just so proud of them continuing to focus on today and what can we do today and how can we support our teammates today and have fun today and get better today. And that kind of went throughout the whole tournament, or the whole season and the whole tournament. And, just to watch us as a little bit as a fan, you're so intense and so into the game and trying to figure out how to give our guys an advantage in the last couple games there in the tournament. But just a few times just watching as a fan, just enjoying how much fun it was to watch them play, and just thinking to myself, man, these guys have gotten so much better from where we were in January. With the majority of the time we're playing 8 or 9 guys, and four or five of those guys are new to our program, or at least haven't played yet, and them coming together and the guys on the bench making contributions, even if they're playing, one game and not the next. I just have so much respect for that and appreciate our guys so much for putting the team first and believing in each other. And that's probably the takeaway from this team that I'll have is just they showed up every day to have fun and enjoy the game, and they showed up every day to support each other and love their teammates. And man, I just had so much fun this year because of the way they approached it. So that's the worst part about being done is you're walking up here today and wishing we had practice this afternoon. But man, there's so many things to be proud of from this team for sure, and so many things to build on, and so proud of the direction that our program's going in.
Awesome. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Thanks.